Hello. Hi. Hello. You should be able to hear us. Hello. It's us. All of us here to here to say stop the Ashen Throne from falling. Here to topple the Ashen Throne. Who knows? We'll see where the night takes us. And here's Kian.
The smoothest transition I've ever experienced, Will. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to hang out on Entropy Emporium tonight. A couple of quick things. First and foremost, we're raising money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Obviously, this is important work. They are doing really important work on the ground in Gaza. We ask that if you cannot donate, we totally understand. Continue to speak up, speak out, continue to spread the word. The other thing is that we do have a Discord server. If you are inclined to come hang out, yell about yourself and the cool shit you're doing, yell about your favorite characters, yell about all of the fun things, just show up and yell. That's what we do pretty much every day. Today was about birthdays and birthday months, so
It's a lot of
feel
yelling.
free to come. There was a lot of yelling today. Feel free to come and hang out. We've got our Discord server. The link is in chat if you want to come and join us and you want to be part of our shows, because that's where we post our casting links. Those are all of the things, so I will send it back to you, Will.
Thanks. Hi, hello. This is the aforementioned Fall of the Ashen Throne. This is a 5e political intrigue-focused game that we've been doing for, this will be the 5th episode. There should be one left after this. We've come a long way. A lot of things have happened, and we'll see if our Crown's Guard can save the kingdom within the next 2 sessions. So we left things on a pretty tense note, and it's not going to be less tense when we come back in. But before we get to that, I think we should probably go around and everybody can tell you who they are and who they are playing. All that good normal TTRPG stuff. Alex, if you wouldn't mind starting us off.
I would not mind. Hi, hello. I'm Alex. I use he, him pronouns. Tonight I'm going to be playing Sir Telemachus Bast, also uses he, him pronouns. He is the king's left hand. Well, which king? One of them. Not many of them are left anymore, but maybe the once and future left hand of the king. We'll see how it all goes.
It will be interesting. Anita should be along shortly. Anita plays Princess Hestia Jourdain, a warlock who could potentially sit on the throne one of these days. But she should be along shortly. As mentioned, work is just running late, so we'll move right along to Anna for now.
That is me. I am Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny, most places on the internet, queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. And I play Liv, the Peregrine, personal bodyguard to Princess Helena, who did not survive the coup. And as I mentioned on social media, under a lot of pressure, because if I have 2 princesses die on my watch, it's going to be very hard to get a job after this. So trying to keep my head above water on that.
It's an extremely good point. Garnet.
Hey y'all, I'm Garnet. I am playing Amika Ravenswell. I didn't think we were gonna have to fight like literal ghosts at any point in this campaign, so yeah, I'm just really glad that I stopped the princess from drinking the weird star water, because that would have been really bad. Yeah, so we're gonna try to kill Ghost. I don't even know if that's something that you can do, but we're gonna try.
We're gonna try. Technically, she would have smoked the star water.
Drink and smoke
worse.
it was going to be in her person, and I could not allow that.
These kids and their vapes, you know. Kian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. And I am playing Morgan Alcazar, a headhunter who hunted some heads last episode, one in particular, and it was very satisfying. But yeah, we're going to see how tonight goes.
Head achieved. Head achieved. And hello, my name is Will. I am your storyteller for this particular tale, chronicle. And I'll be playing everybody else. So When we left off last time, you were in a warehouse down in the wharfs. You, excuse me, you had gone there on some intel in search of in search of answers. You were told that there was an individual who was a bit eccentric, who could potentially give you information that you wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. Information acquired from eldritch and arcane sources. But when you got here, mostly found an old man who seemed to be a little bit more than eccentric, who was deep into a contraption that let him inhale smoke from a sort of a ampule of water that had a strange cast to it. And indeed, he did answer some of your questions. He did tell you some things, but also he started to lose himself in the substance, it seemed like, and before too long, your questions grew too much for him. He started to convulse, and this smoke poured out of his mouth, forming above all of your heads into a strange shape. The shape of what can only be described as a beast made of vapor lacking substance, but for a pair of glowing red eyes in the midst of it all. And we ended right as it started to form, but in this moment, as you all take this in, as you all react, however you want to react to this new threat that it is appearing, the shape fixes its eyes, those glowing red eyes, on Hestia. And all of a sudden swarms forward, a trail still connecting it back to the mouth of the priest, now on the floor, eyes rolling back into his head, mouth distended grotesquely. The cloud engulfs Hestia before any of you are quick enough to react, and swallows her whole. You can still see her outline inside of whatever this thing is. It seems to be growing larger. That's all you can see. I will say, anyone who wants to, anyone you think would be appropriate, can make a medicine check. Which I figure is mostly Amika, but
yeah, no,
I figured I'd put it
I'm
out
on
there.
it. Yeah, no, I got it. Hang on. What I do is there it is. Medicine check. 16.
Amiga, Hestia's form as this thing swallows her becomes sort of amorphous. And as that happens, you can hear a slight, thin, choking sound from inside the cloud. And you realize Hestia is not breathing.
Yeah, okay, well, that is absolutely not great. That needs to be rectified immediately.
And that seems like a great moment for us to roll initiative. All right, let's see here. Let me get this done first. Oh, that's not terrible. right. This is not what it was before. All right, let's start. Amika, what did you get?
Shit. Jesus, 7.
All right. Morgan?
A 2.
Okay. Liv?
Like,
Who did you say? Me?
Liv, yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought I rolled poorly, but I got a 16.
Well, well, and you got a bonus. You don't have to roll all that well. What's the old thing? You don't have to be faster than everyone else. You just have to be faster than the slowest person. And Telemachus.
13.
13. All right.
How did I roll a 10 on the die and start?
Well, truly, even taking this strange creature, if it is in fact a creature, into consideration, you are still going first, Liv. Let me set up the board here. So, before you, let me set the scene a little bit. You have a creature materializing out of this smoke within its depths. You see the outline of Hestia, but it out of the mouth of this old man, these two billowing clouds form like large, massive arms, and this thing kind of like falls down onto them, supporting itself. It's clear from the shape of its body, its back is like large and high up and humped, and it stands very much supporting itself on those strong arms, sort of in the way that an ape might potentially. But as this thing is gaining more definition by the second, though it's not losing that sort of strange smoky quality to it, it's never becoming fully tangible, but you do see more detail, more realism forming all over its body. And you see that while it does seem to be walking on these strong tree trunk-like arms, they end in 3 long, incredibly deadly looking claws, curved claws that sort of like fold inward almost as it lands on them. So it's sort of walking on its knuckles, even though it has these massive claws. And this sort of broad chest, impossibly broad chest, follows, and it's covered in what you recognize as that definition forms in this like ashen fur, matted in various spots, the sort of silvery scars peeking out from underneath it, all over the entirety of its form. It's got this very sort of shaggy hair, almost like what you would expect from something that would live in a very cold climate. And this extremely bestial, sort of like flat snout nose that you don't quite recognize. Maybe something. I'm not sure Liv has ever seen a hyena, but that's probably the closest animal equivalent. However, instead of having those sort of like large ears that stick up out of its head, it just sort of has these like small little much smaller ones coming out of the top of its head, rounded at the top. And you see more of that scarring. You see a dark pattern that seems to like shift and move across the surface of what fur remains. It hasn't been consumed in scars. Those red eyes resolve themselves into eyes with tremendous detail, animalistic eyes that have a certain bestial intelligence inside them, but are no less luminously red. And finally, these big, powerful, slavering jaws and a breath that pours forth in vapor, almost as if it were cold outside, and you could see your own breath. It grows and it grows and it grows and it becomes huge.
But it seems like it has some sort of physical, corporeal form to it that could be stabbed, or...
It does, yeah. It's gaining more substance and definition, but it's clearly still, like, you can see where it's still sort of turning into that trail of smoke that leads back into the old man's body. That connection has not been broken. And I will just put it out here and size it up appropriately. I believe that is correct.
He got so big so fast.
Yeah, that's smoke monsters for you. They grow up so fast. I will say that we'll kind of go in turn order with this, but anyone who would like to, and again, thinks it's justified, make a religion check, you are welcome to.
I rolled a 13.
Okay. I think you have a hard time placing any specifics, Morgan, but you are fairly new to Valyria, and I think that means that you have more recently, hello, Hestia. I think that means that you have more recently heard the legends and heard some of the history, and given what the old man was babbling about before this thing erupted out of his body, it's safe to surmise that this is some manifestation of one of the old gods of Valyria, but you don't know which one. And if anyone rolled higher than a 13, I might give them more information. But Hestia, just so you are aware, currently, go ahead and roll initiative. Right now, you are engulfed inside the body of this smoke monster that has resolved itself into a horrific, massive form, and you are a little bit suffocating at the moment, but you will be able to do something about that on your turn. Welcome. Welcome to the game. And I can't hear you. I don't know if I should be able to.
No, it's fine. I'm just
Cool.
I'm having a private little face journey. Please continue.
All right. Well, go ahead and roll initiative, but it is your turn still.
Yes. Owlbear, for some reason, is making me ask to join again. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Yes. All right. There we go.
Add me in at initiative 12, please.
Absolutely.
It for some reason messed up my sign in. I don't have my token anymore, but if you want to drop me on there, I am going to.
Yeah, I'll just put out. And that door is like where you all are kind of coming out of. So let me just put you here-ish. And yeah, do it that way you will.
Okay. So everyone's coming out of this room?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to swing around the other side of it.
Okay.
Because I fight better on my own. So Liv dashes out from this door. It kind of, I think, slides underneath one of its claws to this other side and jams one of her sabers up towards a part underneath its jaw that looks the most corporeal. And we'll try and strike.
It takes a couple lumbering swipes at you. It's not particularly fast. And as you slide under it, it swipes at you a couple times, but it absolutely does not even come close to hitting you.
That is a natural 20.
Incredible. That is going to hit. And also, you can treat it. I mean, it's a crit. Yeah. This thing is not immune to critical hits.
I rolled really well on the dice.
Love to hear that.
Plus, what is my modifier? 48 plus 4 is 52 points of damage.
All right. And I have to ask, is that your sword is not magical, correct?
My sword is not magical at the moment.
Okay. Right. Very incredible. 52, you said?
52, yes.
52. Perfect. All right, cool. Next up in the order is
I have more attacks. I apologize.
Sorry. Yes, you that's right, you do. I should have known.
Offhand, seeing that she got a purchase, that I'm guessing it didn't do quite as much damage as I expected it to. That is
sword, you swing it around and hit this smoky form of this thing, and you cut through, and it roars in pain. The roar sounds far off. It sounds distant, like there is something about the air around it that muffles what should have been a much more ground shaking cry. But yes, it hurts it, but not as much as you feel like you should have hit vitals.
Second one's 20 to hit. And that's 10 points of damage.
All right.
And I will back up. It looks like it probably has what, like 10 feet melee distance?
I will let you know. You're an experienced warrior, yes. 10 feet.
Okay. I'll back up a bit. So I'm just out of its range.
Okay.
Like I normally do.
Amazing. And so that means that we are at its turn, actually. And it is going to lumber towards you. It is going to be fully focused on you. You see Hestia's form sort of writhing inside, but it swipes at you. And it's going to make a couple different attacks. It's going to try to catch you with those long hooked claws and then pull you in close enough to bite you. We'll see if it succeeds at any of those things. And I know that I have now your armor class here. Okay. It is only going to hit with one of those claw attacks. And so it sort of hooks in for it hooks into you for 13 slashing damage on that one claw attack, and then it is going to try to bite at you, but it is going to miss on that. You're sort of dodging around its strikes. It does manage to sort of get you in the side with those claws. It tries to pull you close, but you manage to pull yourself off, bleeding somewhat, but nothing, I assume, deadly.
And it's outside of my melee range, right?
It is, yeah. It moved close enough to be able to strike at you from about 5 feet away.
Okay, then I will uncanny dodge then.
Okay, very cool. You might have to remind me about that.
I have the damage.
Okay, very cool. Perfect. All right, you managed to get out of the way for the most part. Take about only half of what would have been an otherwise devastating strike. You were ducking and dodging around this thing. Not sure you've ever fought anything like it before. And that brings us to Telemachus, actually.
So the old man is still creating some kind of tether to this creature.
the vapor does flow back into his open mouth, his grotesquely distended jaw.
So I think Telemachus's first instinct is to cut that tether. He has done a lot of things in service to the crown. He has witnessed the worst that you can have, or the worst that can result from the things you have to do to keep the crown safe. The residue of human misery lies pretty heavy on his sword, so he's going to stab this old man in the heart.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a very Telemachus thing to do, so why don't you go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay. That is an 18.
Yeah, mostly we were just going to see if you crit or not. It'd be hard for you to miss this target, so...
Technically, if he hasn't acted, I auto-crit him if I hit, if I
Well,
remember
he has
correctly.
not acted, so you
Okay.
absolutely auto-crit him.
So it is a crit then.
Perfect.
So that's going to be... Sorry. I'm going to do this over here. It's going to be 2d8 plus 8d6. Where's my
Right.
roller?
Right, yes it is.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Which is going to be 3742.
Okay. The body, you pull out Mother's Tears,
Lament.
Mother's Lament. You pull out Mother's Lament and you just swiftly just stab this man in a vital area as he is sort of kneeling on the ground, and blood starts to fountain out from the vital area that you hit, but there is no reaction. And I think that is the moment when you get a chance to really give this man a once-over. The unnatural position that his body has found itself in, the way his mouth is open far wider than it should be capable of opening, and you realize this man was already dead.
Problem for another time. Throw the body away.
By which I mean, I should clarify, this man was dead from the second this thing erupted out of his mouth. He was alive and vital and breathing and everything earlier when you met him for the first time. He wasn't just walking around undead.
I mean, good on him if he was. That
Sure,
would be,
yeah.
You know, living your best on life is fine, as long as you're not attacking the royal family.
Correct. And speaking of attacking the royal family, that does bring us to Hestia.
Oh, goody. So, suffocation? Tell me about that, Will.
No breathing.
I mean, no breathing. That's pretty much the definition. I think tell me what you want to do, and if it involves trying to break out, then I will have you roll something. But if you just want to, if you're good where you are, you just want to like cast spells and things like that, that's fine too.
Right. Oh. Funny thing about no breathing also means no verbal components.
Does mean that, unfortunately.
So we started combat. It immediately rushed towards me and engulfed me.
Yeah, it kind of actually formed around you. Like it poured out of this man's mouth, and then the first thing that it did was like engulf you as it started to form itself.
All right. How big is this thing that is currently surrounding me?
It is huge. I will say it's about 17 feet tall, roughly. Almost to the roof of the warehouse.
Okay, so size huge thing. That's gonna be like at least a 15-foot radius of just bad air. That's so...
I mean, you can try to push through it.
That is so sick and twisted of you, actually. As the group warlock, I have to ask. Like, how bad would it be if I breathed in the god water? Like, really, how do I feel about breathing in the god water now? I'm the group warlock. I have to consider staring into the abyss when it stares at me.
If this thing is the god water, then you've already breathed it in, and it doesn't feel like anything is happening to you, at least not yet. But I think the vial of it that he was vaporizing and inhaling hit the ground and smashed when he fell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, no answers to be found here anymore. We just need to get out of here. I will do my darndest to get out of here then. Well, I would like to use my movement to exit the gas of death, or the gas god. How does that work for me?
Yeah, that is going to be, I think, a strength saving throw.
Cool. I forgot if I gave my warlock any strength at all. We'll see. I gave my warlock charisma. I know that.
Kind of like strength.
It's
like
strength
of personality.
Character.
Yeah, strength of character. Yeah, that's not going to help you in this situation. But...
And my plucky, can-do-itive attitude give me advantage?
Oh, not this time.
Okay. Yep, that's a +0 to strength. It'll be fine. We're fine, besties. We're gonna roll a nat 20. Period. We didn't roll a nat 20. We rolled a nat 19.
But we rolled a nat 19. Nat 19 is very good. And yes, I think that you can do it. You can move half your speed, pushing in any direction you want, basically from the center. And if you want me to put a token out for you, or if you, I'm not certain where everybody is with being able to access the tokens.
Oh, I can access tokens.
Perfect. Yeah.
Like, I will use my full, movement to walk forward as much as I can. So it's 30 feet. If this is difficult terrain, I'm going to be able to move 15 feet forward. Am I out of the gas god?
Yeah. Yes, that puts you, on the very outside.
Okay. So cool, besties. Takes in a deep breath. And I assume folks have been stabbing the thing.
Just live so far mostly, but yeah.
Okay. Liv's got good instincts. I'll trust Liv's instincts. And I guess I will cast Hex.
So the moving half speed after making the save is kind of your turn.
Okay.
You
so that was my action.
Yeah, you push your way out of this thing's form, hacking and coughing and choking, and you're not going to be able to do anything until you have a chance to catch your breath.
Yeah, no verbal components still. I understand, bestie. I would love to perhaps dash and try to get further away, if that is at all possible.
I think it will be on your next turn. Right now you are just sort of getting out and coughing. And I just need to know if you are visible to Liv. Well, I think either way, no matter where you end up on this map, Liv, you can see the dark form of Hestia inside of this thing. All of you can probably see this, honestly. Hestia pushing out the sort of the side of this creature, disrupting the smoke. It doesn't seem like it's causing it pain, but you do sort of see its expression changing and shifting across a range of emotions, sensations, as you see Hestia emerge on the other side, coughing, choking, hacking, as previously mentioned, which is gonna bring us to Amika.
Alrighty. First, I don't know if it's me just not being being used to owlbear, but I can't see anyone's tokens except for Liv's and the monsters. That includes my own. So I don't know where anybody is on the board.
Yeah, so that's all that's on the board right now. Anita's gonna put one on shortly, but basically everybody is by the door. It's not letting me little. Normally, if I double click, okay, I think that's you. So yeah. Yes,
okay,
cool.
oh,
So that is where everybody is basically, except for Liv and Hestia.
Okay. So since I am too far away, seeing that Hestia is making it out, I am going to bonus action. What is that? Flame Blade.
Okay.
And just call on that guy to bring that out, and then yeah, I'm just gonna rush this thing.
All right.
Because fire, if it's looking like it's made of cold, I'm gonna do the opposite. So I would like to attack this thing with my fire sword.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You rush forward, fire sword conjured.
Let's see. What do I need to... Oh, here we go. That is a 21.
Yeah, that is absolutely going to hit.
Okay, and that is 16 fire damage.
All right. And that is fire damage. Perfect. Okay. Incredible. Yeah, you rush forward. This flaming, this sort of pure fire appears in your hand as you rush at it. You slash, and it recoils from the flame, although when the fire hits it, it's sort of a similar effect to when Liv struck it, where the flame blade passes through it. It roars in pain, but it still sounds muffled. It does seem like maybe the fire burns away some of the smoke that makes up its body, but it doesn't seem to have it doesn't seem like you're doing enough damage. Like you could chip away at it slowly by this. You could try to burn it's the mass of its form away, but it's only a little bit that seems to be leaving each time you strike it.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to be replenishing itself by any means. And was there anything else you want to do on your turn, Amika?
Well, I only used about half of my movement to move towards it, so I'm going to use the rest of my movement to hop back away from it, so I am out of its immediate range, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can regroup and try to get eyes on the princess.
Okay. And you see Hestia up there at the top, choking, coughing, and that brings us to Morgan.
I am going to follow Liv's lead, seeing Telemachus go after the guy and it not stop this thing. I'm going to trust that that's not a step I need to take. So I'm going to swing at this thing with my axe.
Okay.
And that is going to be an 18 to hit.
That is a hit.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I'm going to use my Legacy of Might. No, not that. My Legacy of Might? Yeah, my Legacy of Might. Because I've got that 2 more times still, so that is 8 plus 6 is... What kind of damage is that? 8 and 6 is 14. Plus...
Yes.
Hate math. Makes this game really hard.
Math is the
plus-
worst.
It is. 11, so 25 points of damage.
All right. And this, you said this is with your axe. Is that the
No, that's the Bunong.
the Bunang? Sorry, yes. Is it magical?
In my brain, in my heart, it's magical.
Okay. I realize it's kind of a fair question because this is a very low magic campaign, but I do have to check because some of you do have magic weapons, and I don't know exactly who it is. I'm not trying to taunt you, I promise. Do you have a question?
No, all good.
Or are you just raising your hand, Alex, to indicate that you have a magic weapon? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was just helping.
No, right, yes. You're so right. You did help. Morgan, sorry, remind me how much damage you did?
5.
5. All right. Incredible. Yeah, you likewise strike at this thing. It rounds on you and like tries to roar directly in your face, but Morgan, you're like kind of already moving away from it, so it's almost like it's chasing you a little bit, like it's just moving in place. But I feel like you're very nimble and you probably don't stop moving long enough for it to really do that. So you're all just kind of surrounding it at this point in different ways. And that brings us back to Liv at the top of the round, unless Morgan, there was anything else you wanted to do on your turn.
Damn it. This is not what I wanted to do, but I think it's a smart thing to do right now. I have a magical move called Rite of the Ancestors that allows me to ask 3 questions of my quarry.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
And mechanically, there's not an indication of how long this takes or anything like that. So if you don't want me to do it, or if you want it to be my action next turn, I totally get it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I think it's very cool.
I'm gonna set this thing up, this hyena beast thing, as what I'm targeting. Any damage resistances?
Yes. Yep. Cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks.
Second question. Any vulnerabilities?
No vulnerabilities.
Wow, you hate us. And what is its highest ability score?
Okay. 25.
What the fuck? Do I get to know what that is?
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you if you want. It's tied for strength and constitution.
Jesus Christ, okay.
If we could roll the clip from the really easy fights at the beginning when I was like, remember, this is gonna get harder later on.
And here we are.
And here we are.
That's it, that's all I got.
Okay. All right. Well, you got some good information out of that. Okay. Very cool. So Liv, it's your up. And I guess also it's probably worth asking, Morgan, are you sharing that information out loud?
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say I guess I take that as a no.
I just panicked so hard.
No, it's totally fine. All right, Liv.
Okay. That is great. We're doing a low magic campaign. Here's a monster resistant to everything but magic.
It had to happen. It had to happen.
This thing hasn't gotten its claws in anybody yet, right? Everyone's still looking pretty good.
It hit you once, but you uncanny dodged it.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I will rush forward then. And I will it may be resistant, but I'll just keep hitting it. That is a 24 to hit.
All right. Yep, that is absolutely a hit.
That will be 10, 11, 17, 21 points of damage.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
So she slashes, spins, slashes again. That's going to be another 24 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This one will be 10 points of damage.
Okay.
And then I will action surge. And that is a 22 to hit.
Still hits. Yep.
And that is 12 points of damage.
Okay.
Liv just dashing in and a flurry of slashes.
And it definitely recoils from those. Like it was sort of tracking Morgan and trying to like pursue Morgan, so it presented itself as this very broad target for you to basically just like leap in and slash at it a whole lot. The head goes back, another muffled roar, and it spins again to try to like face you. Despite the fact that there is some level of bestial like awareness in its eyes, like it's clearly sentient. That doesn't mean that it's smart. It's now like trying to focus on you. It's kind of just like switching from whoever heard it last, it seems like, in the way that you would kind of expect a beast to. I feel like I had a question. Oh, I was just going to put out there that I know some people aren't into it. I personally am. I know we have a couple rogues and a couple people with rogue levels. I personally am down with flanking rules for sneak attack damage. So if you are kind of like opposite another character, then feel free to factor that in for this fight. And the creature, the beast, is up next, and because you got its attention, Liv, it is going to come at you again. You are being a very, very effective bodyguard in this situation.
That is what I do best. I stab and make people angry.
All right. It's kind of just doing the same thing, lumbering towards you, swiping at you as you are dodging nimbly out of the way. One of these is gonna hit. Does I know that a 15 doesn't hit you because your armor class is 17.
Right.
So far just the one claw, but let me see about the bite. That is gonna hit. So one claw and one bite this time. And so that's 14 slashing damage from the claw. 11 piercing damage from the bite.
Okay. You said 14. I'll uncanny dodge. That's 7, so that's 18. Okay.
Yes, total.
Let me do math. And does it have me, because you said it pulls into bite, does it have me grappled or did it release me?
And notably, it does not have you grappled. You get the sense that it is trying to, but it's not able to get both of its claws on you so far.
Okay, yeah. Liv kind of stumbles back, big bite mark in her side. Ow, watch out for its teeth.
It's good advice. All right. Telemachus, you are up. You killed a man. Now what would you like to do?
So Telemachus sees all 4 of his companions just like swarming around this thing, attacking. Hestia is out of it. Breathing, coughing, looks like she's gonna be in it soon enough, so...
Yeah, every second that passes, she seems a little bit better.
All right, so I think Telemachus is one of those people who observes and then does what he needs to do in terms of this sort of fight. On the not that he's ever really fought a demon before, or whatever this is, an old god. But seeing that it's focused on Liv, that leaves it in a perfect sort of flanking position, if we want to call it that. So he will carefully move forward, make sure that he's got a good aim on it, try and stab it through an ankle, see if we can hamstring it, pin it to the ground, make sure it can't move around. I doubt that's going to work. It's big, but we'll give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. You can move up there. Do you need a token, by the way?
I do.
Okay. Just gonna do this, and I'm gonna say, since it sounds like you are flanking with Liv, I'm just gonna put you there on that side of it, so you can move up to there.
Perfect.
And then
Does a dirty 19 hit it?
it does.
Okay.
And this is with
The first thing I'll do is wound it, because Mother's Lament is a magical weapon. It has the property that whenever I hit, I can cause a wound, which means that at the start of its turn, it takes a big whopping D4 necrotic damage for every time it's been wounded. And then you get a DC 15 save at the end of its turn, which, now that we know its con is 25, that's great. I feel really good about that decision.
is it a con save?
It is a con save.
That's a shame.
But it is 27 damage.
27 damage, all of which goes through.
Wait, sorry, no, 32.
32. Okay, great. 32 damage, all of which goes through. And you all thought you had heard it in pain before, but you've not heard anything. The whole when Telemachus draws back Mother's Lament and then strikes at it, the entirety of it sort of ripples out from the point of contact, and it becomes more solid for a second. Like, you see this sort of rippling effect move across it, and for a moment it doesn't look like it's made out of smoke. It looks like a flesh and blood creature, and it sounds like a flesh and blood creature, and you stab it the way that you would a flesh and blood creature.
Can I use a bonus, or I'd like to use a bonus action to disengage and then get out of its claw range?
Yeah, absolutely. It is already, its wild, large eyes are already looking around trying to figure out what just happened, because
Wasn't me.
doesn't seem like it's felt anything like that before. Great. Okay. So that was okay. So at the start of
hold on. Sorry.
No
I have
problem.
a different idea.
Okay.
Instead of doing a bonus action to disengage, can I instead do a bonus action to drop Mother's Lament and kick it to Liv? Or does do I know if anyone else has a magical weapon on them that they would use?
I believe Hestia does.
Hestia's
Okay.
sword was given by a magic lake lady and is
Yes.
right.
Okay, yeah, I think Liv and Telemachus have worked together enough.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, I'll use a bonus action to drop it and kick the sword so it, like, scurries between this thing's legs so that Liv has a magic weapon, and maybe we
Hell
can
yeah.
just see what happens.
Hell yeah, that's so cool. I love that. I do think I'm gonna call that. We'll say that is we'll call that an athletics check. But you can take advantage on it. This thing is not really smart enough to pick up on what it is you're doing.
Okay. Could I argue acrobatics?
I'll allow it.
Okay. In that case, we got a dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. This thing is like solely focused on you. You drop Mother's Lament. You kind of deftly kick it. It goes skittering across the floor, spinning, almost like Liv. You are able to like stop it. I'm gonna say that it stops like a little bit short of you, and you kind of have to sort of throw yourself forward into like a roll to get it, but because you're still sort of dodging these like flailing limbs and things like that, but you come up and you have Mother's Lament in your hand.
I end my turn.
Okay. All right. Which brings us to Hestia.
Oh boy. Liv, how you looking, bestie?
I've been better. I'm not bleeding out on the floor yet, but I've been better.
Yet. Great.
Liv has a healthy amount of HP to start with.
Also, I would like to remind everyone before we got here, I did pass out greater healing potions.
That is
so
true.
maybe let's save those spell slots because until after those are no longer available. just throw that out there. Everyone does have a health potion.
Yeah. I think that seeing Liv looking bad, a lot of ghost claw marks, some ghost bite marks, or god bite marks. I don't know. A spirit killed her mom once, and now a spirit is like taking chunks out of her sister-in-law? Widowed sister-in-law. She is going to sort of like walk around. Oh, can I? Here we go. Walk around here. Like, try to get in between Liv and the big scary monster thing. Try to push her back a little bit. I'm not sure if that would work or if Liv would even allow that. But
not on your life. She's not gonna let you protect her.
She nevertheless, Hestia is going to say, do not touch her, in a very scary, very deep, kind of eldritch, little bit echoey voice. As I remember at the end of last session, I had like my sword lit and on fire. I'm gonna add a little bit of green flame to the already like sword flame, and we're gonna do a big flame. I think, gosh, if I don't have advantage from Telemachus being on the other side, I would send my bird to just be on the other side and fucking caw.
I'll say that you have. I'll say that you have advantage. I'll say that you are kind of also still flanking with Telemachus.
All right, thanks, Telemachus. And we'll roll a little hit, hopefully. God, what is my spell attack? It's +8. Not great, but the second one is worse. So the first one was a 15 total.
All right, 15 total. That is unfortunately not going to hit.
Awesome.
I think that you lash out at this thing with the green flame blade, and I don't even. Yeah, I think in this moment it doesn't even really take notice of it. It's really fixated on that thing that hurt it really badly a second ago, and it's still very much looking for Telemachus.
Yeah, I think that this is also the first fucking spirit that Hestia has ever met.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing that murdered her mother. And it is scary, and it is also murdering like some of the last family that she has in this present moment. A lot's going on, and I feel like as the green flames like begin like coalescing, as like she goes to strike, a cold wind like blows out just from this creature of cold and evil. And she gets a little scared. She's a little scurry. And she whiffs.
Extremely fair. Extremely fair. Yeah. Hestia, are you doing anything else?
Oh shoot, I should have hexed. I bonus action hex.
Okay.
And it has disadvantage on strength saves. Not saves, strength checks. It's
Sure.
not that cool. And it still has a +7 to strength checks, but it has disadvantage though.
It has
So there.
disadvantage. Hell yeah. All right. Very cool. Amika.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna attempt to throw my spear at and or through it because I have mastery in spear, even though my favorite weapon is in fact a glaive, because I'm going to use sap if I can hit this thing, so I can give it disadvantage on something else as well.
Hell yeah. Go for it.
Okie dokie. What did I do with my spear? I'm gonna chuck it at it. Wait, who's on the other side of this?
Hestia and Liv.
All right, cool. So I'm I'm just gonna let Liv know that I'm throwing this thing so she can catch it.
Okay.
Or at the very least, make sure everyone else ducks. If catching is out of the question, at least make sure it doesn't hit anybody else, because I'm assuming it's going to go through it. Let's see. Come on, dice. 19.
Yeah, 19 hits.
Great. Uh, 7 damage.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you cock back your arm, you throw it, and the spear does pass through it. You shouted a warning to Liv. So Liv, I think that there is a moment where all of a sudden this thing is phasing you. You hear a cry of warning from Amika. A spear just sort of plunges out of this thing's like flank directly towards you, but I think you're quick enough to react. I think you kind of have to like shove Hestia a little bit, and the spear just like flies past right between the two of you. But you have enough warning that you don't have to roll for that or anything. You're totally fine. And you said, Amika, you were giving it disadvantage. Is that a thing that your spear does?
Yes, because I have mastery in it, I can. It does this thing called sap, and it says when you hit a creature with a spear, the creature has disadvantage on its next attack roll before the start of your next turn.
Hell yeah. Okay, very cool. Yeah, so the spear passes directly through this thing, and you're just all kind of getting at it from all sides. It's like not sure which of you that it should be focusing on in any given moment. It's just rounding to try to figure out who the best target would be. Morgan, you're up.
I would like to climb up this thing's back to hit it in the back of the head with my axe.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be either athletics or acrobatics, and if you succeed, then I'll give you advantage. Absolutely.
That is a dirty 20.
Yeah, yes, you succeed.
Hell yeah.
So you can climb up this thing like it's no problem. It
You
starts
gave
like
me advantage.
Yeah.
Well, I don't hit because I rolled a natural 1 and a 4. My dice hate me tonight.
I'm sorry.
This is the worst day of my life, William.
I mean, it starts like reaching back to try to like get at you. It starts whipping its body around, and you're just getting like shaken all over the place. This thing is it's massive. I'm not sure you've ever fought anything this size before.
Probably not. Am I
The
able
sheer-
to... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say the sheer force that it like is swinging its body around. You kind of just have to hold on for dear life.
Am I able to hold on and stay up there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just that's all you can do. You're trying to like bring the weapon to bear, and it's just not. You can't line up a good hit. At least not yet.
Yeah, no worries. That's my turn. Thank you.
All right. Well, a certain promise was recently made about what would happen if we got back to Liv's turn, and so we're about to see that play out in real time.
So Morgan is on its back. Is this Morgan? I don't know if I can ping.
I thought
I
you
forgot
should
to
have been
move
able
my
to.
token. I am the eyeball.
Okay. For flanking reasons, flanking would be either where Hestia is or opposite Hestia.
Well, currently you're still opposite Telemachus.
Oh yeah, but I'm moving.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm not gonna make it so that you have to draw like an exact line as long as someone's on one side of it and you're on the other side. That's good enough for me.
Okay. Yeah. So Telemachus kind of throws the dagger through its legs. Liv rolls, catches it. Hestia rushes over and tries to move her. Liv stands up and almost like a ballroom dance, kind of grabs Hestia and spins both of them as the spear goes by. I'm coming around this side and I'm going to bait and switch with Hestia, which is going to switch our places. So I will move where Hestia is and Hestia will move behind me. That is an 8 on my superiority die, so my AC until the beginning of my next turn is 25.
Holy shit.
Because I'm protecting the princess.
Uh-huh.
And then I will, as we switch places, take Mother's Lament and stab it into the side of this thing.
All right.
I have flanking, so I have advantage. Those are 2 really good rolls, but I'm going to spend a luck point to crit fish. That was an 18 and a 19, but I'm going to spend a luck point. That is a natural 20.
Holy shit.
So what kind of damage does Mother's Lament have?
It's D8. Unfortunately,
D8.
there's no extra. There's no +1 to attack damage. It's just magical, and unfortunately, you have to attune to get the stabby wounding ability.
That is quite all right. All I
Still
needed was
magical.
the magical. Yeah. That's 11, 14, 20 times 2 is 40, plus 4 is 44 points of magic damage.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
I have another attack if I need it.
You do, not by much, but you said 44?
Rechecking my math.
Sorry.
No, it's quite all right. Yes, 44.
All right, amazing. Yeah, you hit this thing and it goes sprawling with the damage. It recoils away from just the very touch of Mother's Lament and the precise way that you are wielding it. It's trying to follow you, but you're such a blur of motion in this situation, Liv, that you fully that it's just like chasing its own tail, basically, as it's trying to follow you. It kind of like throws its body, the bulk of itself, away from you after you stab it. But unfortunately, that almost just makes it even more vulnerable because it's reacting so strongly. So it's not dead if it can die. But you said you have another attack.
I do, yes. As it pulls away, she hangs on to Mother's Lament embedded in it and kind of steps her foot up underneath it on its ribs and pulls herself upwards to slash with her saber. That is another natural 20.
Well, let's fucking go.
I'm scared for the rest of the session now. It's 14 points of damage.
All right. 14 points of damage. Non-magical saber.
Non-magical.
Non-magical saber. All right. That. This thing had 7 hit points left. So, Liv, what does it look like?
Yeah, she uses momentum to throw herself kind of up in the air, and with her offhand saber, slashes down in between the shoulder and the neck of this creature.
Yeah, for all of you looking on, there's like a moment where like time kind of slows down. Liv is just sort of like suspended in midair, of the sword saber overhead, bringing it down, and then yeah, this thing, the steel strikes it. There is a wail of pain, a roar of pain that echoes out from this thing. And before it's even done, it just dissolves into smoke that falls to the floor. It collapses into smoke that spreads out across the floor of the warehouse, and you just have that eerie echo of the scream ringing in your ears.
Telemachus will reach his hand out for his sword back.
Yeah, Liv tosses it and just kind of sits down.
Hestia is embarrassed about one thing, and then Liv just coming through and doing like very much an anime finish him move, is gonna, I think, like sit next to her and be like, okay, that was kind of impressive. And just like hand over bandages, because it seems like Liv doesn't like it when Hestia like helps like bandage wounds.
Thank you. Is everyone else okay?
I do believe it enjoyed attacking you the most, so I believe you're the only one who got actually hurt. And Amika is saying is that she's going to go retrieve her spear out of what I'm assuming is a wall.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely like just hit an old crate and just sort of like stuck into that. You can yank it out very easily.
Throw that back on her back. Did we gather the information we came here to get? Seeming as how we're not going to get a second opportunity.
Either way, I think we should leave quickly.
Can you stand?
Yeah, it's just needed a breather. I could probably go a couple more rounds. She gets up and kind of staggers a bit to the side and then straightens herself up.
We should take a moment. Just a short breather so people can bandage wounds when no good bleeding out.
What's our next move?
You have a moment to breathe and catch your breath and bandage your wounds and things like that, but the man is lying there dead. This creature, whatever it was, is gone. And the question still lingers. Where is Hector?
I am going to chug my greater healing potion as we're sitting here.
Hell yeah. And I think with that moment and that lingering question, we're going to take a break. and catch our breaths ourselves in real life after that very tense battle. We will be back in about 10 minutes. Don't go away. See you real soon. Hello. It's us. We're back. We brought pets for your viewing pleasure. There will probably be more pets later on in the stream. These pets will probably not hang out for a terribly long time, as is the nature. Yeah,
It's bedtime.
I get it. Only difference is when it's bedtime, he just falls asleep here in my arms, and that's my problem. Incredible. All right. Well, let's get back into it. When we left off, you all were figuring out what your next move was going to be. Now that you had finished your business at this warehouse? Question mark. Well, it is a warehouse, sort of presented to you as a temple? Question mark.
When we get your brother back on the throne, he's probably going to have to deal with the fallout of a priest getting killed.
You have to find him first. And like everybody here has very good wisdom, or at least passable wisdom. More than Hestia does. And like it's easy to see, like with insight, she is the longer it's been, the more she's like really seething at like, yo, where the fuck is my brother? Why the fuck would my brother leave his Crownsguard in the middle of a battle? There's a growing annoyance and anger there. But she will sort of like look to the group and say, that didn't give us any clues or insight as to where Hector might be, did it? I certainly couldn't parse anything out from that. Seemed
Not
like
really.
the spirit really didn't know.
I feel like we're back to square one.
At the very least, we know that Hector didn't send the assassin. That's something.
Yeah.
Key and I
You might
can't hear you.
Double muted.
My bad. Yeah. Maybe we're not wholly back at square one. Does the Heart of Valoria mean anything to anyone here?
Yes. I could only assume it would have to.
Yeah, I
that's it?
think so. I think probably. I mean, whoever wants to can make a check. I think.
What type of check? Well,
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it? I mean, what are you thinking? Tell me what you want to roll.
I want to roll a history check.
That seems appropriate.
Because, like, Heart of Vyloria seems like a history thing.
All right.
Maybe it's more like a current events thing, though. You tell me.
I think that those are very connected to one another. Can you not bite me? So yeah, history checks. History checks make sense to me.
It's a 22 from Telemachus.
23 from Hestia.
12.
All right. So that's very interesting to me. I'm going to say that there are two different aspects of this information that you know about. I will start with the most esoteric. Hestia, as the person who has probably had the most formal schooling amongst all of your companions, I think that the name, the Heart of Valoria, you remember it from some old texts. I think specifically you remember it from some old poetry. Some very well-known and oft-quoted Valorian poetry that talks about the heart of Valoria and how it beats for everyone, and that as long as the heart of Valoria beats, she stands. But Telemachus, I think you have heard rumblings, very specific, very tangible, real rumblings of a revolutionary sect calling themselves the Heart of Valoria.
Do I have any sense what their goals are beyond revolution?
Your information, so it's been a while. I think your intelligence is kind of like your intelligence is a little bit old. The last time you heard about them, last time you encountered any information from them, from any of your like network of spies or informants or whatever, it's a little outdated. But they were pretty opposed to Lucan, specifically King Lucan. He was a little bit more of an iron fist kind of king. He was a little bit more interested in, like, you know, the aristocracy, the nobles look after the nobles, and, you know, that's just the way that things are. And that was not popular amongst some of these radical folks.
Idealists and dreamers, yes.
Somewhat ominously, they would refer to themselves, according to your informants, as heartbreakers.
Dream makers?
You're telling me that revolutionaries opposed to the monarchy have kidnapped my brother?
It would appear so.
Can I make an insight check on that?
Yeah, you can. Morgan, can you roll a deception check?
-1 insight, but we're trying.
I also rolled a 17.
All right. Well, it's D&D. If it meets, it beats. Hestia, you don't know what Morgan's not sharing, or even what aspect of this Morgan is concealing, but you know Morgan's not telling you everything that he knows.
Now, you're holding back on me, on us. I think there is I think there's a shock and a bit of bitterness. Hestia's had a very long day and has a lot of pent-up fighting energy, is still ready to swing on something, and is just going to say, Morgan, I would implore you to tell us everything that you know about the whereabouts of my brother, our king, who we're sworn to protect, If you know something, please don't be shy.
May I speak freely, Your Majesty?
Okay. I think like that hits a little because like majesty is used for the ruling monarch. Highness has only ever been like used for Hestia. And I think she's taken aback a little. And she'll like stand up from where she was sitting, like beside Liv. And we'll say, speak.
If you think I would hold something back that could possibly help us find Hector, that's the biggest disrespect that you could pay me. I went to go and take care of something, and along the way learned that the heart of Valoria has him. That's all that I know. And I think when Morgan says I went to go take care of something, looks like glances over at Liv.
She'll take a deep breath. Hestia doesn't know what's going on. She never knows what's going on, and she's getting used to the feeling. And it's just going to turn to Sir Telemachus Bast. And Sir Telemachus Bast and say, am I saying it right?
Telemachus, yeah.
Okay, Sir Telemachus, and say, any leads on where this sect of revolutionaries might be holding my brother? Any information you might know?
Great question.
With your earlier history check, your intel leads you to believe, Telemachus, your intel indicates that they frequent a drinking establishment in the lower end of Avenal, capital city that you find yourselves in. Somewhat idiosyncratically called the Gone to Ground.
Yes, they have a point of contact place, meeting establishment. It's not somewhere that you would normally find yourself. But needs must.
I think Hestia is going to like start smoking a little bit. Like there is frustration here, there's anger here, but some people that organize and collectively believe in the overthrow and the deposition of her family have her brother. So that's a focus for the anger. And I think she's gonna like turn towards the exit, sword still on fire, and begin marching towards wherever this gone to ground may be. She doesn't know where she's going, but she's going there swiftly.
I definitely think Telemachus would not have said outright where it is, just to make sure that we are reining our horses in a little bit. So I think when Hestius walks out, he looks over at Amika like, things seem to be moving a little precipitously. We should probably make sure that she's not on fire before we walk into a bar.
Impetus, child. I'll get her.
Would you like Morgan and I to get there first? Scope it out before Hestia makes a scene?
Yes, please.
Liv will share a look with Morgan and nod and head out a different door. So I'm sure we know a
Incredible.
faster way of getting there.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, back roads. And I mean, if they're going to let, if Amika and Telemachus are going to let Hestia run off some of her energy, then absolutely, yes. It's all
It's like
right.
a toddler having a tantrum, and we're just letting her burn it off until we can get to
Why don't
where
you
we're
run around the block
going.
a few times, kid?
Yeah. I'm just gonna look at Telemachus. How did this become our lives?
I've asked myself that a few times, but I can't really pinpoint it. I think it was somewhere at least 30 years ago. So
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, well, let's go find her before she sets the entire dock up ablaze.
yeah, we have enough to worry about.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna shift. I'm just gonna walk. Just gonna walk.
Yeah,
It's not just
absolutely.
gonna be hard to find.
I imagine we're just like following the slightly
trail of
glowing,
smoke. Yes.
right? Just like a little Scooby-Doo, like she just walks out of an alley into another one, back into another alley. We're like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think she is dragging her sword behind her, which would be a problem since the sword is on fire and it's a dock, but like the boards are wet enough so that there's just a like trail of steam, like where Hestia has been, that is dissipating into the night.
Exactly right. Liv and Morgan. You find a different route. You're much more familiar with the I was like, Liv Morgan, why does that sound familiar? That's a professional wrestler.
The former women's champion.
Hilarious. Anyway, the two of you find back routes, stick to the alley, stick to the shadows, make your way down to the lower end of the city, sometimes more commonly known as Cheapside, and find yourself in a rougher neighborhood. People here, houses are almost more of a formality than they are anything else. This is not an area filled with like family homes or anything like that. There are people lying still on the outsides of the streets, whether they are passed out or sick or dead, you're not even certain, but every so often you walk past one unmoving person with a collection of others around, sort of quickly, furtively rummaging through that person's pocket. It's very much a different side of Havenall than what you have grown accustomed to seeing as members of the Crown's Guard. And you do definitely stand out quite a bit here. Maybe Morgan even more so than you would in other parts of the city. This time not because of your appearance, but because you are well-fed and strong and well-armed. And before too long, you've turned enough streets, turned enough corners, that you find yourselves facing a lane that splits into, it forks down into two different streets, and at the point of deviation, at the point of the fork, there is a building on the corner with a door that faces outward and a lantern hanging overhead, along with a wooden sign painted with the image of a man face down on the ground.
Charming place.
I know it doesn't need to be said, but there's a chance that they're being framed for all of this. I don't know that going in swords drawn is going to be the best way.
We don't have much time before Hestia gets here.
I'll follow your lead.
Yes, let's try to get some information before we start something, but they might clock us right away. What's our cover story?
I think Morgan, there is a chance, this is the closest Morgan has felt like they are to Hector, and I don't think Morgan is thinking clearly. I suppose if we can kill them all fast enough, we won't need a cover story.
Yes, that is one route, but there's a strong chance they're not holding him here. And we need more information. Liv puts an arm on Morgan's shoulder, or puts a hand on Morgan's shoulder. We will find him, but it's going to require us to keep our heads for now.
Speaking of keeping our heads, I took off the head of someone connected to them. So
I'm sure he deserved it.
It was very satisfying, but they probably will not look kindly on me.
They would have to know you did it? I can't
Fair
imagine
enough.
you'd be that sloppy.
Certainly not. What do I... This is half Kian, half Morgan asking. Do I remember anything else from... What was his name? Lyle?
What Lyle told you?
Yes.
Lyle told you that he had been working with the Heartbreakers for a while now, but didn't really get a chance to expand on the nature of that relationship or what the end goal was. He did notably, well, he did tell you that that's where Hector was. I believe he even told you that they had found Hector. Not that they had kidnapped Hector.
Okay.
And I think he did probably tell you that the night of the night that Helena died, the night that you all had to escape the castle, was a frame job basically for the heart. They were trying to set them up, but they were not involved.
I think if we go in wanting to reinstate Hector, there's a chance they might be on our side.
At least to clear their names.
We have the power to do that more than most.
Okay. Then we try it. If they get mad and try and stab us, we just hold out till backup gets here.
Sounds good.
I will, with purpose, walk through the door.
Okay. And I don't think you've ever experienced the record scratch phenomenon in real life before, Liv, of walking into an establishment and suddenly like all the noise stops and everybody's head turns to look at you as you walk in through the door. But that is exactly what happens when you walk into the Gaunt Ground. People, there are plenty of people sitting at tables, sitting at the bar, drinking, talking, conversing with one another. Everybody shuts up when you walk in, and everybody turns to look at you. You kind of scan the bar. You see a lot of faces staring back at you. There is one man behind the bar, clearly the bartender. He is probably younger, and there's something kind of handsome about him that makes him just look out of place amid everything around here. He's big and strong looking. enough that if it weren't for those facts, he might be a bit of a pretty boy, but it seems to you that like that's just his face, but the rest of him fits in very much around here. He looks very rough and tumble. He looks like he knows how to handle himself, and he has his pretty sizable arms crossed over his pretty broad chest as he regards you. He's this sort of like a chestnut brown hair that's on the longer side. It's sort of tied back with a headband to keep it out of his face. Sharp jaw, a little bit of like stubble on it. He hasn't shaved in a few days. And then I think otherwise, everything else about this establishment looks pretty normal. But I think you would also spot a woman, these like long, dark, very dramatic, like cascade of curls, sitting at a table off to one side. There are elaborate looking cards of some kind spread out across the table in front of her. Someone sitting opposite her.
Liv takes all of this in and just kind of reaches down and grabs a cup off of a table next to her. Just kind of lifts it up. Next round's on me. And takes a swig of it and slams it back down on the table.
All right, let's make a persuasion check.
Okay. Let me remind myself what my persuasion score is, because we haven't rolled this yet. Okay. That is a dirty 20.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I would say about half the people in the bar give a drunken cheer of excitement. More than that responds. About half of the bar, their like first reaction, very typical one that you would expect, big cheer, of course, free booze. About the other half of the bar like joins in halfway through, like it's gonna be like it's gonna be weird if we don't.
I'm taking note of who the half that come in late are.
It's a little bit hard to keep it straight, but the man behind the bar and the woman with the cards on the table in front of her stays silent and just watch you.
Gotcha. I'll look back at Morgan and motion towards the woman at the table, and I'll head towards the bartender.
Can I ask, Will, are these looks of just like, who the fuck are these people that just walked in? Or are these looks of recognition of who we are?
I think that would be an insight check.
That is a 17.
Okay, 17 is good. Nobody here is particularly good at hiding things, and most of them are not trying to hide anything. So no, most people don't know who you are. They just know that you look out of place. Most notably Liv, who just like, wearing all this like shiny, well cared for armor, carrying weapons, just offered to buy everybody around. Like on the one hand, cool. But on the other hand, who is she? Why is she here?
I will say, when the riot broke out, the uprising broke out, Liv was in the practice ground. She is in leather armor. She is not in her knight armor.
Fair. But still much better equipped than anyone else in this particular part of the city. With a 17, I will say you get the strong impression that the woman with the cards and the man behind the bar quite possibly know exactly who the two of you are.
I will head over to the woman with the cards.
Okay. And there's a man sitting across from her who like stands up sharply when you start making your way over, starts moving away. And she does not make eye contact with you. She just starts like putting the cards away, shuffling them back into the deck that she holds in her hand. You don't recognize these objects. It's clearly, they're clearly part of a set. You've never seen anything like them before. They're elaborately designed and painted. They look very old. And you're not certain what they are or what their purpose is, whether they're for a game or something else entirely. But she does not look up at you. She says, have you come here for a reading?
I would be honored.
Well, then have a seat.
I'll take a seat.
And she looks at you for the first time. Morgan, what? Can you describe your eyes again?
I gotta look at a picture of myself. They are a reddish amber.
Okay. Okay. Normal sort of human-looking irises, or?
Bigger than usual.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay, cool. She looks up at you and meets your eyes, and there's some kind of, we'll call it electricity, that bounces between the two of you when your eyes meet. It's not emotional. It feels weightier than that. It feels like you feel your pulse quicken, but not in the way where you're nervous or enamored or excited. It's something far more base, instinctual than that. Her eyes are this deep and disconcerting golden color.
Do I feel any sort of like compelling one way or another?
You don't feel like you're being compelled to do anything. No.
Okay.
No. It's just a strange feeling that you've never experienced before when your eyes meet. But she pulls out some cards. She starts pulling cards out and looking at them and laying them down. She sets one down, and it's a pair of like crossed hands with blood dripping from them. She says, "There is blood on your hands."
I can't say you're wrong.
She pulls another one, and it's a ship fading into a horizon. Like the art is from the perspective of the person watching it go. She says, "You are a long way from home."
Well, that feels a bit obvious. Certainly you can do better than that.
And she pulls another one. It is there's an image of a wooden surface, probably a table or something like that, parchment spread across it, and a spyglass stretched out, fully extended across it. "You are looking for something important to you, no? Someone."
Is there any artwork on the back of the cards as she's flipping them?
They let's see. it would be identical, but yeah, there's something. I think it's probably just like a reddish background with like a series of like black dots that seem to like vary in location and value.
I will reach out and tap the spyglass card and say, now this is interesting to me, and I will leave behind a gold coin.
Okay. Are you taking the card?
I'll take it and spin it around to face me, but I'll leave it on the table.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And she will look at the coin, but she won't take it. And she examines, like she stares at it for a second, and then you realize that she is examining the cards laid out. And she looks up at you, and she says, "Did he suffer?"
It's not in my nature to draw out things like that.
He had done nothing to you.
In my line of work, sometimes that's not a good enough reason.
Have you thought about finding other work?
Every day. But unfortunately, the thing that I'm looking for won't let me right now.
Well, you should speak to Keegan. She looks over at the bar, the man standing behind it, and she starts to put the cards away. She pulls the spyglass out, leaves the gold coin on the table. She doesn't make eye contact with you, and she says, "But I wouldn't tell him that you murdered his brother. If you want this help."
I appreciate the warning.
I get the impression that our goals ultimately could align. It would be a shame for something to come between that goal. Revenge. Feelings.
Can Hestia enter on that line?
Well,
I feel
let's
no.
let's
I
give it
feel
a
like
little
that's
bit.
hilarious, but let it. Or let you set the scene at the moment.
Yeah. Morgan, are you gonna start making your way over to the bar?
I think Morgan says, I'm glad that we're aligned in our heart's desires. Kind of puts an emphasis on the word heart and then gets up and walks toward the bar.
Nice. And Liv, you made straight for the bar. Where I think that the handsome man is already starting to pull pints and set them out on the bar, since you bought everybody around.
So how much will that run me?
You know, it took you longer than we were expecting.
We've been a bit busy. I'm glad you don't seem like you want to beat around the bush. Neither do I. The hearts were framed, and I would like to clear their name, but you know what I need to do that.
Well, that puts us in a tricky position, doesn't it?
And why is that?
Because I know who you are. Doesn't mean that I know if I can trust you.
And what would it take to get you to trust me?
Well, that's tricky, isn't it? Because a place like this, you trust the people that you come up with. The people that know your own, grew up the way that you did, went through the same things that you went through. The stories they tell about you true, about where you came from.
Washed up merchant family. Princess picked me off the street, became a crown's guard. It's pretty simple.
You think that's right?
What do you mean?
I mean, you think it's right that you, your family, ended up on the street because business was bad. And then you, handpicked by Her Royal Highness, lifted out of poverty and into privilege.
My father was a known gambler. How do you see it happening? And how is it that you know so much about me?
I hear stories. I heard you were common folk. That's all I knew. You told me the rest just now, but I'm wondering if you think that's right. I mean, why you? Why do other people go hungry and starve and die in the gutter? And you get to go live with your princess.
I have asked that so many times through the years. It's unfortunately not a question you can get an answer to. The princess did not survive this uprising, but her brother did. I'm here to see that he continues to.
He crosses his arms over his chest and kind of looks over your shoulder as I think you probably hear Morgan kind of walking up next to you. And he looks between the two of you. One of you. I don't care which one. You're not both seeing him. Not first.
Morgan, you should.
I think very quietly Morgan will say to Liv, "You trust me to keep my head right now?"
Well, they're apparently taking you to see the prince, so I would hope you would.
And then looks over to the barkeep. "I'll go."
Right? And he sort of like nods his head towards the back of the bar, where there is a plain wooden door bound in iron, probably leads down to some kind of cellar, if you had to guess. Through there, down the stairs.
I glance at Liv and say, "No more than 10 minutes." And then I'll walk back to the door.
Oh, he leans on the bar. Peregrine. What happens in 10 minutes?
Let's hope we don't have to find out.
Morgan, you head towards the back of the bar, towards the door.
Yep.
And I feel like you feel the anticipation building in every step you take, taking you one step closer to Hector. You've been looking for this entire time, who you've been searching for. Door is not locked. It gives. As you push on it, swings open. Stairs before you lead down into the cellar. They are dark, but you can see kind of a soft glow at the bottom.
I do have dark vision. Do I see anybody else in this area?
No. No, you can see the stairs clearly, and I think you can still tell that there is a light source at the bottom of the stairs, but yeah.
I will go down the stairs.
Okay. One step at a time, and the cellar of the Gone to Ground is a collection of barrels and crates, as you might expect, shelves that have glasses and drinks and bottles decorating them. It's a little bit of a boxy, almost like maze situation, but you can tell the glow is coming from sort of around the corner, and as you round the corner of one of the shelves, you see this sort of like alcove that's been created. It's like a very simple cot, small like bedside table with a lit lantern on it, and seated on that cot, back propped up against the shelves, recognize Prince Hector Jourdain. His shirt is clearly he's wearing clothes that have been given to him. They're very poor make, and peeking out from the like deep opening of the shirt that he's wearing, you can see bandages. He looks up in surprise. It's very sort of like, it's very sharp, handsome features. He blinks. Are you real?
I think Morgan stops farther than he wants to from Hector and says, I don't have much time. Have they hurt you?
No, they've dressed my wounds, fed me and sheltered me, and why don't we have much time? What's happening?
I've only got 10 minutes to be down here to talk to you before Liv sets this place on fire, I think.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Not the plan, but we don't have much time. What happened that night?
We got separated. I fought, managed to kill 5 or 6 of them. I wasn't keeping count, I was running. And I went back to my room. I was hoping that I'd meet you there. I was hoping that you'd be there. shouldn't have. I realize I was stupid. I should have just run, but I was injured. I didn't realize that there was somebody there. I didn't realize that there was somebody in my room. They stabbed me. And I killed them. I made it outside before I was discovered. He sort of like winces at the memory of it and like touches his side and says, went out the window. Crawled away more than walked away. But someone found me and brought me here. Told me that I would be safe here.
Sorry, my dog is dreaming.
It's fine.
Who do you think is behind this?
I think it goes deeper than we know. I don't know all of the twists and the turns. But I know, at least on the surface, Cedric. I know Cedric was behind the attack. I mean, they weren't his men, but I know that he gave them access to the castle. He let them in. That's why Lyle was there.
We've been expecting as much, beginning to suspect it. Lyle has been taken care of.
What do you mean?
Nothing that you need to worry about right now.
Morgan, Lyle saved my life. Lyle was the one who found me bleeding on the edge of the river. Who brought me here.
Like I said, we don't have a lot of time, Hector.
Right. Oh, all right. We can talk about that later. Morgan, these are good people who can help us.
We plan to try and clear their name and know that they've been framed.
Yes, but more than that, they can help us. We can hide here. They can be our allies. We can make them promises that things will be better, that things will get better.
I think when Hector says that, Morgan finally approaches him and kneels in front of him and just very quietly says, "You've always been such a hopeful idiot."
Wow. You followed me across an ocean, so who's the hopeful idiot at the end of the day?
Fair enough.
It is so good to see you.
I thought you were dead.
I thought you were dead.
It's going to take more than a little rebellion to take me out. Hestia's alive.
He looks very happy about that. And then, like he's waiting for more.
And Morgan
his
just
expression.
shakes his head.
Whatever it takes. And whatever promises I have to make. I'm going to kill him.
You have Crownsguard that are loyal to you that can take care of that. You don't need that blood on your hands.
I do, though. I do.
Well, first, your new friends have to let you out of here.
He laughs a little bit and says, Morgan, the door's not locked. I'm hurt.
Well,
They're not keeping me prisoner. They're hiding me.
stay hidden for a little bit longer.
Yes, please go stop Liv from killing everyone.
Lady Rosanna Blackpike is gathering allies, so we should have enough to take back the castle.
If you say so.
You'll have to talk to your sister about that one.
Of course. There are many things that I would like to do, but I fear it's not the moment.
I think
yet.
Morgan will lean in and just give him the most chaste of kisses.
Which he will deepen. He will put his hands on either side of your head and then deepen it and pull back and say, well, maybe just a little.
Like I said, not much time.
Right.
As long as they're good to you, you can stay here.
And he nods and sits back a little bit. You see some of the tension leave his body, some of the pain sort of melts off of his face.
I'll come back.
I'll be here.
And I will get up, and with a lot of effort, Morgan turns around and leaves the room.
Upstairs, Liv, are you making conversation or?
Yeah, I think making conversation and watching for Hestia, because if Hestia comes in that door, Liv needs to shut it down immediately. Before matters get worse. But yeah, I think standing at the bar, kind of keeping an eye on everything, but making conversation with the barkeep if he wants to make conversation.
Yeah. You know, they told us that everyone was dead.
That's convenient for what they are trying to do. There are many of us who survived and have been working in the dark to find him and to put things back right.
So, oh, you don't know.
What don't I know?
Godfrey, he stepped in his region. He's resigning.
Why would he resign?
Because of the coronation? Because there's going to be someone on the throne.
Who did they find who had a claim?
It's a good question. It's all being kept very deeply under wraps.
Do you know when the coronation is supposed to be?
Your timing is remarkable. I'll say that much. Because we were trying to figure out exactly what we were going to do tomorrow to stop it from happening.
Fucking hells. We have plans in motion. I'm sure that we can speed them up. There will be more help arriving here soon.
And when you say that, I think the door opens. Now, you arrive at the establishment, Amika, Telemachus, and Hestia. You do the sign. Are you...
Hestia would kick the door in.
Right. So that's what I'm wondering, is are we letting that happen?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, there's no way. Cause
Are you stopping Hestia physically from kicking the door in?
Yes. We have no compulsion about doing that whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
I don't think.
All right, so you're putting your hands on Hestia, like as we approach the entrance.
What's gonna happen is as we get close to it, and I can feel the anger from you emanating off like waves, rolls of heat coming off of you. There's gonna be a moment where I move a lot faster than I should for someone of my age and someone, who's wearing armor. And I'm just gonna get in front of you and I'm just gonna look at you. I understand. I watched all three of you come into this world. One of you is gone. The other one is somewhere in here, but if you go in here literally blazing, it will not end well, mainly because this is a bar and Lord knows that everything will actually catch fire. And unlike you, I don't think your brother could withstand that. Calm yourself.
Hestia is going to take a deep breath in and exhale, and there will be like smoke that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And she will say the trigger words, and her sword will stop flaming. as it has been for the past entirety of this night walk, as Hestia has stomped forward. And will sort of like look to you and say, see, nice and pleasant.
Thank you, Your Highness. Now, let's go drag your brother out of this shithole and go home.
I think Hestia is still going to kick the door in. Unless somebody stops her physically from doing so. But isn't going to do so on fire this time.
I think at this point, Mika's just going to look at Telemachus like, I need you to get to this door before her. I can do a lot of things, but I don't know how much of it I can do if she decides to catch fire again.
Yeah, I think as soon as the sword goes out, Amika, you might see the dagger in Telemachus's hand disappear. And then he will go to the door while Hestia is calming and demonstrating her calm, and will open the door in such a way that it's just when she gets there. Almost as though he is being subservient. As
After
though it's
you, milady, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's not really paying much attention to Telemachus. I think her eyes immediately go to who is in charge here.
Yeah, I mean, similar thing. You kind of make a big commotion when you come in. The door doesn't get kicked in, obviously. Telemachus just opens it, but you enter.
She
People turn
does
to look
still
at you.
have a sword out that is
Sure,
just
yeah.
dragging behind her.
Right,
She is obviously a Jourdain.
Sure.
She has armed guards, like
Mhm.
12
yeah, people
is
react.
here. Yes.
Right. People react strongly. People definitely like move away. The woman with the cards doesn't move. The bartender doesn't move, and I think you pretty immediately spot Liv standing at the bar.
If
I think
if Hestia looks like she's going to make a scene, if she is storming into this place, dragging her sword, Liv will meet her halfway and stand in front of her.
yeah, not storming. Still hasn't like sheathed her sword though, which is probably making everyone nervous. And will sort of see you at the center of the bar. Crown Scott, report.
If you value his life, keep your head, keep your cool. Put your sword away, please.
Hestia will like look back at it. And I think look around at this place. And just there's a look of like these people meet and conspired against my father for literally my entire life, right? These are people that want to see the monarchy out of Vyloria, which means very bad things for me and my family. And is just going to is just going to, like, look back at you. And say, you really think this is the place for me to let my defense go down?
You are well guarded. This place is friendlier than we expected. We will not let harm come to you. But I must ask you again to put your sword away. I am a crown's guard, and it is my responsibility to protect the crown. You are currently putting that in danger.
See to it that the crown is protected. Live. She will sheathe her sword. And walk up to the bar. Will she? Seemed like you were, like, handling the barkeep. There is another person that didn't flinch in this bar that was just there. I think she'll, like, head up to the person with the cards.
Going to intercept. I think it might be best to wait. If you haven't noticed, Morgan is not here.
We have waited for so long.
And a few more minutes.
What are we waiting for, Amika?
The report you asked for. If Liv is here, that means Morgan is elsewhere. Most likely where we need him to be. When Morgan emerges, we will find out what we need to. We will have answers. So maybe let's not implode. Have a seat.
Everyone think I'm going to implode.
You were literally on fire less than 5 minutes ago.
I think the woman with the curls who didn't flinch is going to speak up at that point. You intercepted Hestia about halfway, but she very casually, not looking over, is going to say, because that is your fate, Your Highness.
There's something about that irks Amika's soul so much. And she is going to very slowly turn and face this woman. What exactly is her fate?
Begging your pardon, I know that she didn't ask for a reading, but when it's a destiny like that, I don't need the cards.
No,
it's
but
written
you
that
do
plainly.
need your tongue, do you not? So maybe keep it still.
No. Amika? It seems this person has something to say. I think Hestia will walk up to her table and implore her to say it.
While you're doing that, I am just going to make eyes at Telemachus. This is a look that we have given each other multiple times over the decades, where he knows that he is, despite the fact that everybody's got eyes on us, to melt into the shadows, to be ready to do what he does best, if need be.
And he does.
I could tell you all your fates if you want, but yours, princess, you are full of fire, just like your ancestors. It burns bright, draws people in like moths, but it also consumes. Fire burns so long as it has fuel. But once it has consumed everything, it goes out.
So, you fancy yourself a seer?
I think at that, she looks up at you with those unnatural golden eyes. As if I had a choice.
And seer, I'm sure that you know what happens to things that stand in fire's way. I suggest you take me to my brother before I stop reining things in. And I cast the suggestion spell.
Okay. What is that's a saving throw, right?
That's a wisdom saving throw.
Cool. Okay. She like your words wash over her. She kind of cocks her head at you. I would be cautious. Especially in front of those people that serve you. They're going to start wondering what you told them to do. That you forced them to do. Or what you could force them to do.
Dang it, she saved. It was
She
just a
saved.
16.
Yeah.
Where?
She saved. She rolled very high on, she got 2d20, full disclosure, but
That's
she got
so fair,
things.
bestie.
She got things going on.
She, I think, like, Hestia will say, that's good advice. And then her bird will, like, fly up and, like, land on the table and start pecking at it. And just will continue to say, like, the magic didn't really work, but the threat is there. And imminent. So now you have a choice. Sia, what future are you going to choose?
Your Highness. Your very existence threatens everyone in this bar every day. You won't be able to scare us that way. And then I think the tension is diffused as the door to the basement opens and Morgan emerges. Yeah. Morgan, the vibe has changed. Vibe is off.
Noticeably.
Like, yeah.
People have exited out of the bar as they are able to. Other people are sort of just crouched, moved as far away from this scene between Hestia and this woman with the curly hair. But you see Telemachus, you see Amika, you see Hestia, you see Liv, and you see the bartender who is still standing there with you. I think with your threat assessment, you would probably notice one hand under the bar. Tense.
Morgan nods to Liv and then looks at the bartender and says loud enough for the others to hear, "You have my thanks."
I think Hestia's head is gonna cock and say, "He's here." Have you seen him?
How many other people are still in this bar?
Yeah. I'll say about 7 at the moment. And I think you would probably note, Liv especially, you would also note that these are the people that cheered halfway through Liv saying that she would buy everyone around. These are probably the titular heartbreakers.
And they seem all as much on guard, I'm guessing?
Yeah, they're pretty tense.
Okay. Then I will approach Hestia to speak a little bit quieter and just say, "He's safe, and now we have work to do."
I'm getting tired of your secrets, Morgan.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, it was quiet.
I am getting tired of your secrets, Morgan. Where is my brother?
Somewhere safe. Do not jeopardize that by demanding to see him in this moment.
We have more pressing issues as well. Godfrey is stepping down. They're doing a coronation, somebody's secret. It's happening tomorrow. That paired with everybody in this bar who has now seen the princess and has left to tell their friends and family, we need to move quickly if we are going to do anything.
And I think the bartender, Keegan, is going to speak up at that point and is going to say, "Well then, if you're done threatening each other, sounds like we should make a plan." And I think that is where we're going to end this episode of The Fall of the Ashen Throne. But before we do, one last thing. While this is taking place, while the confrontation is taking place, once Morgan reemerges, moves towards Hestia and starts having whispered conversations, Telemachus, you feel a hand on your arm.
Okay.
You look and you see the dark-haired woman with the golden eyes. I'm so sorry. I just thought that you should know.
He's waiting.
Do you ask her?
No, not verbally. His eyes
Okay.
might.
I don't ask to see things. I don't look for them. I don't have a choice but to see. Out of everybody here, you have no future. You're going to die. And that's where we'll end.
Great and good. I love that.
Cool. Good vibes. Good vibes. I don't know why the chat says whack vibes. I don't think the vibes are whack.
Hestia is going to burn this place to the ground.
Hestia's always about to burn something to the ground.
Hestia needs to remember the power shifted in this episode. We have a crown prince now that we're all loyal to.
That is true.
Correct. Don't be a
I
threat.
mean, yes, but do we have a crowned prince now? Hestia hasn't seen anyone,
It's a good question.
and her last family on Earth is somewhere near, and no one's telling her where they are. She's gonna burn a bar to the ground, besties. She's gonna burn the bar.
I will say there's a lot of emotions happening in Amika right now. The main one of which is I need to get down there to my boy because I need to fix him. Like, I am literally the only person here who can heal him, and I need to go do that. So I can put his ass on that throne, because who did they find? And that is incredibly worrisome to Amika, that they have found someone to, no. Like, absolutely not. He's gonna go sit there and he's gonna rule this, and that's that.
Find out next time on Ashen Throne Z. I think that's gonna be our session for tonight. We'll go around. Everybody can tell you who they are, where you can find them, what they got going on. Then I'm sure we'll rate somebody, but we'll go around in our order, which means that I'll kick it off this time. Hi, hello, my name is Will. I was your storyteller this evening, running Fall of the Ashen Throne. I don't have a whole lot going on for the rest of the week. Friday, I will be over with Tales from the Table Studio as part of their relief from the LA wildfires fundraiser, Month of Tales 2, benefiting that, playing a game of Grimoire Punk, which is a game that I'm newly obsessed with as of the last 72 hours since our session 0, and I'm gonna run it soon elsewhere. That's a threat and a promise. Saturday morning at 11 a.m. I'm running Class Reunion, another 5e game, the only other 5e game that I run, or probably will ever run, if we're being honest with ourselves, over on Live from the Apocalypse, part of our Saturday morning cartoons, and then that's really it. I will also be running a Masks game February 10th over at Tales from the Table Studio as part of their same fundraiser. So you can check all of that out. That's really it for me. I'm on Blue Sky at a Willem Scream, and that's really the only place on the internet these days, which is kind of nice, not gonna lie. That's it for me. Alex?
Hi, I'm Alex. I was Sir Telemachus Bast, who apparently has no future. But, that's on brand for me. So, What's going on? Not this Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the Tuesday after, you should pop over to Live from the Apocalypse, where we will be playing Nephilim Tenebris, where our merry band of burned out gifted kids are trying to rob their former college and maybe kill their headmaster. Who knows? Was I the one who got us involved in that? Yep, that's my bad. But you know what? Dickie's never done anything wrong in his life. Very much unlike Sir Telemachus Bast. So that's about it. I'm also on Blue Sky at Mighty Finn. I'm not there really. The internet is a scary place, as is the world. So I just try and hang out and play games and not think about it. Anyway, that's me. This was fun. Thank you.
Anita.
Anita. Hi everyone, Anita here. I have been Princess Hestia Jourdain, who has been so nice and pleasant all week, and I think she deserves to go a little apeshit. I think she deserves a little. I think she deserves a little arson. I think that's fair for her.
We'll see about that.
My beautiful princess has never done anything wrong in her life ever, and I'm so excited to see what consequences are going to fall on her head next session. Fuck besties, I am Anita. You can find me at Anita the Lesbian on Twitter. Yeah, I'm still there for some reason. But you can also find me wherever you get your podcasts, on Creme Demented Actual Plays. Like season 3, I did a very wonderful Kids on Brooms. That's the name of the system. I did a wonderful Kids on Brooms sort of podcast. Right now we are releasing a Masks podcast that I am on with Elliot Andrews Presents, I'm pretty sure. It's called the Issues Podcasts. If you look up the Issues Podcasts, you'll find my girl, who is much sweeter and actually hasn't done much wrong in her life. But yeah, that's me. Find me at Anita the Lesbian if you want like updates from the source about things that I'm doing. And find me here next week committing arson. Now to you, Anna.
Please do not make us choose between you and your brother. Please do not make us kill you to protect your brother next week.
I would counter with.
I just want to talk. I just want to
Actually.
talk to him. I just want to talk.
But I am Anna, aka Archival Despotty, most places on the internet. I'm a queer and trans advocate, museum worker, TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. You find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Archival Despotty. I am in a ton of stuff. It seems like I'm always doing stuff, pre-recording, live stream, whatever comes my way. But I am tired, so the only thing I'm going to mention tonight is Bloom and Blight. If you like magical girls, queer stories, and finding hope again after devastating loss, check out Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast. It follows the magical girl team Bloom just a few months after their leader Lily sacrificed herself to save the world. It explores their grief and how it affects them and their relationships and their responsibilities to protecting the city. We are in season 2. Episode 3 just came out. All of our episodes are tightly edited. They're an hour or less, the majority of them. Full music and sound effects. Everyone who listens talks about how pleasant they are to listen to. So it's very easy to catch up. Yeah, you can find us anywhere you normally get your podcast, on Instagram and Blue Sky at Bloom and Blight. And for character transcripts, cast information, a link to our amazing community Discord, downloadables, and tons of other fun stuff, check out bloomandblight.com.
Hell yeah. You should, yes, Blue and Blade good. Said it before. I'll say it again. Blue and Blade good. Garnet.
All right. Well, I have been Amika Ravenswell, and yeah. So there's that. Gonna need to have some conversations with some folks a little later. But until then, I don't actually have a ton going on right now because I'm taking a little trip out of the country for a bit. And those of you that do any sort of like praying to anything, send me good vibes, send me prayers. I hate flying so much. And it's not getting any better. So please, if y'all want to see me next week or following week, please, because I have a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to do this month, and I'd really like to get to do it. Otherwise, I'll. The goal is to be back here. The goal is to be back here and to figure out what's going on. Otherwise, I'll send you pics from Spain.
Absolutely, please do. And Kian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on Blue Sky at uptight-chiffon. I'm just going to run through Entropy Emporium's schedule really quick. Obviously, every other Monday, we are here, Follow the Ashen Throne. Every other Tuesday, They Call Us Villains, our Horror Masks actual play, GM'd by JD. I will be there tomorrow evening. Every other Thursday, God Complex, A Girl by Moonlight actual play, GM'd by Will. Every other Friday, Weird Wilds War, a 5e actual play, GM'd by JT. Every Saturday, not picking up again until March, but every Saturday after that, Godkiller Desecration, GM'd by myself. And then also in March, keep an eye out for Blooming in the Raw Invisible Sun actual play. Our finale will be on March 1st. Other than that, follow me on social media. That's where you'll hear about the things that I'm doing. I'm also taking a break for most of February, so I will be back in March doing much cooler things. What was I going to say? Oh, we are going to send a raid over to Tales from the Table Studios because, as Will mentioned, they are doing some fundraising right now. So be sure to let them know who sent you. Be sure to mention things in the chat so they get credit for the views. And if you can, donate to the cause. It is important work that they are doing right now. But other than that, Will, I'll leave it to you to take us out officially.
Yeah, let's do it. Everybody say Hestia did nothing wrong when we get over to Tales from the Table Studio. Everybody say that in chat. We'll see you over there. Thanks for hanging out. Bye. Good night.